Alright, what is up YouTube? And today we got a brand new video. And it is currently Ash Wednesday as of this recording. It's going to be posted on the coming Friday. Not Good Friday, but just the Friday after Ash Wednesday. And I'm going to make it a kind of a goal on my fitness pages to not post shirtless content until Lent is over. Just kind of an added thing. I'm also going to be mostly not drinking alcohol, not listening to music, and not having caffeine for Lent. That's kind of what I've decided to do for Lent. So it's beater season right now. And what I'm hoping ends up happening is that I'm going to go this whole time without taking my shirt off on camera as I'm cutting. And then Lent's going to be over and I finally take my shirt off and I'm just ripped, stripped, and striated all over. It's going to be freaking like a really awesome transformation, I'm hoping. But anyway, that is not the point of this video. That's just a little channel update I'm going to try. And no, less shirt coming off means less workout vlogs. So I want to splice in some little advice, tidbits, tips and tricks, videos kind of like this. Maybe some challenges. We'll see. We will see. But the bottom line is seed oils and food dyes. So this isn't going to dive into whether sugars and preservatives are bad for you, because we know that sugars are essential for the brain to function for the most part. I mean, your body needs glycogen for your brain to kind of churn a little bit, but the problem is just having too much sugar and not a lot of putting that sugar to use. Filling the tank up with fuel but not running the engine ever. That's more of the problem with sugar. Everybody knows that at this point, and everybody knows preservatives are bad for you. They are not the bee's knees. They are in fact bad news bears. But seed oils and food dyes are something that are kind of always on the borderline. They're kind of a controversial topic. They're a little bit divisive. And I'm going to go through this video really quickly. I'm not going to cover any of the science because you'll find that with divisive things, there's studies to prove both sides. There's studies saying seed oils are perfectly fine and studies showing seed oils are bad news bears. Same with freaking food dyes. And so, I'm just going to give you my experience. We're going to bring back the trust me bro component to science. That's what we're trying to do on this channel, so with some things, especially with divisive things. And I also want to make this video right now. I'm sitting at 47 subscribers. I have not blown up yet. We are not dominating the algs right now, and I don't have my David Barr sponsorship or anything of the nature. So I have no reason to tell you anything but the truth right now. I'm not trying to push in a, what do you call that, propaganda. I'm not trying to peddle propaganda to the masses right now. What I'm trying to do is give you, this is the unbiased truth from a normal person, just a normal YouTuber that has nothing to lose right now. I'm telling you my experience with seed oils and food dyes. So get into it, because this is as unbiased as the channel is ever going to get. So I'm just going to give you my personal experience, because some of you might be going through similar things. And how I discovered that seed oils and food dyes were kind of not the best for me was, so in 2022, I had a big Halloween party, and after the Halloween party, I decided that I was going to take care of my body a little more, and I was going to cut out a lot of processed foods. But I was kind of a simpleton, thinking that just all the protein products that were just chock-loaded with whey protein were good for you. And one of those happened to be the legendary Pop-Tart bar things, and they were really good. I loved those things. And I would have one of them a day, but I would notice that my throat would always be kind of hurting. And I wasn't sure why. And I kind of was able to pinpoint back to the fact that I was having these, like this was the big change in my diet, was that I started having these legendary Pop-Tarts. And other than that, I was eating relatively clean. We'll get back to one of the ways that I was not, something that was slipping through the cracks. But at this time I was still having seed oils. The only thing I really cut out was like ramen noodle. I stopped having as much fast food. I stopped having microwave burritos and microwave Jimmy Deans every single morning, because those were kind of like the obvious things that, like the ultra processed foods and stuff. But I thought protein bars were good. my throat was hurting, and I was feeling pretty bad every time I had one of these, and I was able to figure out the pattern, looked at the ingredients, and nothing seemed too absurd in there other than they had like 3 different types of seed oils, 3 different types of oils. And I was like, hold on a second. And the first thing I thought was canola oil. I thought canola oil was the only seed oil that was bad for you because it lowered testosterone. That's what I heard long ago. So I would try to avoid canola oil, but palm kernel oil and I think it's sunflower oil were 2 that were in these Pop-Tarts. Do your own research on that. Like, check just to be sure. I don't want to get sued by Legendary. They are yummy tasting freaking Pop-Tart protein thingies. But my throat would hurt, and so I did some research and found that seed oils can reduce testosterone, and they can, lead to some inflammation and stuff. There's a lot of things that go into seed oils being sus for you. A lot of times seed oils are combined in foods that have preservatives and high sodium and stuff to make them hyperpalatable. So that's the thing, like foods that have seed oils in them, almost no matter what they are, if they have seed oils in them, something about it just makes me really want to eat more of it. I might have a predisposition towards seed oils. I like the way it tastes, but my throat would start to hurt, and I would have foods down the road that would make me feel pretty crappy, and then I would check the ingredients, I would have them before knowing they had seed oils in them, and I'd check the ingredients, figure out they did have seed oils, and when I cut seed oils out entirely, I lost like a lot of the fat that's around my stomach. For a lot of people, they can really lean out on like their chest, their back, their shoulders, their face even, their legs, their arms, but it's that lower belly fat that really lingers quite a lot for many people. And when I cut out seed oils, I pretty much lost a good portion of that fat. A good amount of that bloating went away. And I just replaced seed oils with butter when I was doing cooking stuff, and then just completely moved over to like a relatively whole food diet. There was a long time that I was still having Fairlife shakes, so I was getting my fair dose of microplastics in. We can go over that in another video, but I didn't want to dive into microplastics. I just wanted to cover the big 2 right now, seed oils and food dyes. I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. Furthermore to that point against seed oils is my nipples would get a little puffy as if I had gyno when I consumed a lot of seed oils. And even when I consume a lot of seed oils now, they actually puff up and get a little perky. This might be TMI, but you guys got to know everything. You got to have a level playing field here because you might be like me. That's why I'm sharing this, because I want to share my experience, because there might be some stuff science hasn't figured out yet. And there might be something about an individual that makes them react to seed oils poorly. And maybe all you need to know is that you're not like the people they did experiments on and found out seed oils are okay for human consumption. Like, this might be just a second opinion, might be all you need to cut something out of your diet and make a good change. But anyway, when I took seed oils out, I had pretty normal, pretty dude nipples after that. Like, they lost their kind of like fluffiness to them. Like, the gyno kind of went away. And I think that has to do with inflammation. Maybe some estrogenic nature to some of the seed oils that I was having made my nipples a little puffier as well. I'm not entirely sure, but I was ecstatic. And by the way, this is when I was lean. Like, when I was lean, I still had some nipple puffiness. When I'm bulking, I'll get a little bit of nipple puffiness again. But bottom line is, when I was lean and I cut out the seed oils, that nipple puffiness went away, and we had normal, standard, rock hard nips all the time, for the most part. But that's seed oils. I was able to lean out a ton, and honestly, I was able to eat a little more, but look less bloated. That's the important part, because I think that my body was able to metabolize foods that didn't have seed oils, that were more natural, a lot quicker than foods that did have seed oils in them, and that's what made me appear leaner. Even though I was putting on a little bit of muscle, probably a little bit of fat too, I was not retaining as much water weight and not as much inflammation, because my body was a lot better at processing fats that weren't seed oils. And I got my omega-6 fatty acids from things like just a couple almonds every day. All right, the next controversial topic is food dyes. Now, food dyes are just chemicals grown up in a lab that basically just give your drinks or your food color. So think about the stuff that makes frosting blue or red, and after you eat like a cupcake or something that has this said frosting, your tongue is like red or blue. Or like drinks like Gatorade. Gatorade has a lot of food dyes in them. There's a lot of things that have food dye in it. Fanta has like the yellow whatever in it, and also red. Yeah, because orange is red and yellow. But the bottom line, they serve no purpose other than kind of giving your drink a unique color. Even Mountain Dew has food dye just to look more yellow. It's completely impractical and it's sheerly aesthetic. And there are many studies that'll say that it causes all of these brain problems, and there's studies that say it's completely fine. So you gotta stop. I was gonna say you gotta stop trusting the science. You gotta trust your body more than the science, and you gotta trust your mind your experience a little more than science. That's what I was treading on some dangerous water there. I was going to have some people going to war with temple forming, which is okay, bring it. But I'm not here to stir up some ruckus today. I wanted to tell you a story of back when I had the Gatorade protein pouches. What I would do back in the day is I would put in some milk. I would put in 300 milliliters of milk, 5 ice cubes, and collagen, creatine, and this Gatorade protein powder. I would put in 2 packets of the Gatorade protein stuff. And I would have that after my evening workouts. And my lips it was the red flavor is what I would usually have. Sometimes I would spice it up with blue, but the red really mixed well with that milk. It sounds like a crazy combination, but trust me, like, it was really good. If you've ever had the red Laffy Taffy flavor, that's what it tasted like. Pretty much spot on what it tasted like. But after it, and I used to work out late in the day, I would work out around like 4-ish, I'd have the shake, and I would get on Rainbow Six Siege. And when I made this change, when I added these Gatorade protein shakes into my diet, I would notice something. And that's that when I got on R6 in the evenings, my aim would be markedly worse. And aim has not been like impeccable in my gaming history. Oh.
Let's go!
It definitely hasn't been a weak point. But all of a sudden, like, I just felt dumb in the evenings. I felt mentally daft. Like, there was this cloud of fog over my head and all the time. And I was just like, dude, why am I getting so incompetent? And I can't aim, I can't shoot. My head is like a lot foggier. Can't focus in the evenings. And eventually, the same thing I did with the seed oils. I just looked at what was the common denominator around this time. And I was like, the shake. So I looked at the ingredients in the powder that I was using, the Gatorade protein powder. And it was like all the way at the very back was the Red 40. And I thought, like, I saw Red 40, I read that. And I thought Rad 140, like the steroid. I was like, holy buckets! Like, no wonder I'm feeling dumb. Like, I'm troglodyte maxing. I'm taking steroids without knowing it, and that's why my muscles are getting so much bigger. I'm getting leaner, but I'm also getting stupider. And so I did some research on Red 40, and I found out it was actually a food dye, not the SARM. I think Rad 140 is a SARM, but I found out it was a food dye and then moved on. Like, I was like, oh, it can't be this. Like, food dye is just fine for you. But that's when my For You page on, like, TikTok and Instagram just started spamming me with, like, seed oils are bad for you stuff and Red 40's bad for you. It's like that thing where your phone just picks up on what you were listening to or looking up. See them tumbling down. And that's kind of how I heard all these studies from like Carnivore MD and like Santa Cruz, Paleo Medicinal, that dude. I just got those things talking about how it like causes the tisms or something like that. And while I never diagnosed myself and don't want to lump myself in with that demographic inappropriately, I don't want to disrespect that demographic whatsoever, but I did feel, admittedly, that I felt not functioning as I should be. And so I finished off the batch that I had and then switched to a Truvani, which is a plant-based protein powder. And I also did the Rob Irvine protein powders. And after that, that brain fog went away. Like, it sounds so simple. It sounds like I'm trying to lie to you guys, but like, I have nothing to sell right here. This is my personal experience. And after that, my aim returned to normal at Rainbow Six Siege. Eventually, my SBMM caught up with my actual skill level, and I couldn't compete with all like the strategies, like the peepholes in the walls and stuff. But I didn't have that fogginess in the evenings anymore. I started to feel like myself again. I started to regain a sense of like a articulate nature again, and my motor focus was also better in the evenings after I cut out the food dyes. And I also like would notice how long my lips would be pink after having this shake, and I also had the intuitiveness to just say, surely there's something wrong with my lips being pink this frequently. Like an normal pink, like a lighter, like fake lip glossy pink, not like a normal lip pink, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I hope that helped. I hope that if you are feeling weird about something in your diet, even if it's not these two things I talked about, that it's okay, because science doesn't know everything yet. Science is constantly changing. Scientists will tell you that themselves, in fact. But we don't have it all figured out. So even though people say something's all right for you, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not for you. And you just have to figure out how it feels to cut that out of your diet and see how your life improves after that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for hopefully some more challenges and other fitness content coming in the future. I will make all of my videos and informational talks like this. I even want to do some vlogs, so stay tuned for that. But I love you guys. God bless y'all. Peace out, and I will see y'all next time.